All right, we're live.
Do I have to wait the 15?
No, sir.
All right, sweet. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Nation, Episode 7. Today we are talking about the late night TV block near and dear to all our childhoods and hearts, Toonami. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to help us and support us with more great content such as the Marvel Mondays Initiative, the Penultimate Conquest Podcast, and my show, the one you're watching right now, Anime Nation. Also, if you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, which gives you one free Twitch subscription each month. Give us that sub, maybe. If you missed out on any of this week's content, check our website, thepenultimateconquest.com, check our VODs, and even see the schedule for the rest of the month, which has finally been updated. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Ryan, the host of Anime Nation, the anime guru of this group, and today I got some lovely guests, some of my favorite people to talk anime with. First off, like always, we got coming out of Jujutsu Tech, Fee from Point in Progress. How you doing, Fee?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I've been doing good. Been too long since we podcast together. Excited for this one.
Read.
Secondly, but not least, we got my boy, straight out of the Hidden Leaf, as always, Christian of Large Popcorn. How you doing, Christian?
Bang. Can you believe that I like anime? Because I don't.
God, I would never have figured that out.
For real. Not even with
And
my Naruto shirt.
yeah, God, I didn't even notice that. Who's on it?
Naruto.
Is it Naruto? Oh, I couldn't see. I just saw blue, so I was like, is that a Sasuke shirt?
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna do a little bit of housekeeping here, such as go check out this week's Marvel Monday episode. You guys reviewed Incredible Hulk, right?
Oh
They-
yeah. And it got
they-
wild. We started talking about other movies like halfway through. It was
Well,
insane.
I mean, that movie can't make a full hour. That is a 10-minute review.
No, we tried.
We have Tessa playing through Resident Evil, which she did yesterday, so definitely go check the VOD of that up on YouTube. Ruben may be playing some Mass Effect or near this week, and of course we had Anime Nation today, and also check out the VOD for yesterday for Cross Media, where we talked all things the Warner Brothers merger, which is just a fucking wild thing to even think about. And with that, let's get into the big topic of this show, Toonami, a block near and dear to my heart. So I'm gonna start this off with our history of Toonami. There's everyone here. Fee, what is your history with Toonami?
Other than watching things like Inuyasha at 2 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah.
because I remember I used to babysit when I was around, like, I think I was like, what, 12 years old, and they would always play Inuyasha at 2 a.m. And it was just, at least my time zone, I don't know what it was for your guys' time zone, but specifically for us, it was 2 a.m. and it was just like insanely magical because I remembered I would stay overnight. Probably they shouldn't have probably let a 12-year-old keep an eye on their kids overnight, but I digress. But I'd always stay up to specifically watch those like later night animes because as a girl growing up in a Christian household, watching things like a number of the animes that we're probably going to be talking about today were definitely frowned upon. So it was always like near and dear to my heart, and I remember like the commercials in between the episodes and stuff like that. So that was, I think that's something that like really, really stood out to me.
All right. And what about you, Christian? What's your history of Toonami?
Dude, I'm glad Fee brought up the commercials in between because the anime bump specifically for me, like what an aesthetic alone. Like the
Mhm.
music of Nujabes and like the countless others like lo-fi
Mhm.
jazz hop music in between is like iconic. And I still go back and listen to some of those sometimes as like study music or whatever. Not even
Mhm.
study, like when I'm working.
That
I'm pretty much just yeah.
Oh, I just think back to like the red white aesthetic of like 2007 Toonami.
Mhm.
Some of my favorite.
I love it. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Growing up as a kid, and
Mhm.
in a in a Latino household, my parents would call it "tumami," which means like your mom. That was like the joke my parents did. Like, are you gonna go watch your mom? Like, and like this is like my thing that I would do is I would watch cartoons like late at night. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember Toonami like early would start off with like some kind of like grown up cartoons ish. Like I think I remember like Justice League being on there, or like some kind of like kiddie animes, and then it would go like into like your
Samurai Jack was
Samurai
on there
Jack,
for a
Yeah.
yeah. And then it would go into like your Hamtaros, your Inuyashas, your Samurai Champloos, I think as well, if I remember right, and
Naruto.
Naruto, Dragon Ball. I mean,
hmm
Toonami is the reason why I'm into anime now. So
I have to agree with that one. I have a very similar one to Christian. Of it was I remember stumbling upon it one Saturday night when I was 7-ish around there, and it was Naruto, Fooly Cooly, Samurai Champloo, that kind of shit, and just being in awe of all this. And we're gonna get into it later, but especially like their movie months and everything were some of my favorite and early introduction into anime cinema and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff, which is just fantastic. So with that, I'm just gonna read some of the history of like Toonami, like the beginning of it and all that. Getting here just straight from Wikipedia, because that's just how we're working. It was made as a block that was needed to be filled by shows they already had license to during the beginning of the Adult Swim era. So about 1999, 2000 is really when the era of what we consider Toonami began. It's when they first did Tom, who is an icon. When he is an
Voice.
iconic anime character voiced by Steve Bloom of motherfucking Cowboy Bebop fame. It's one of those voices that it lives rent free in my head, is that sound of him saying coming up next, whatever it is, all that.
So, fun fact, if because I
Mhm,
was listening to a lot of anime bumps to prep for this podcast, like just vibing
mhm,
out, and on a lot of like YouTube playlists, Steve
mhm.
Bloom is actually commenting like, "Yo, thanks for uploading this." Like, I knew when I played Tom that this is like gonna be a big role for me, and I didn't think it'd be last like as long as it did, but like this is like the start of my career essentially, and it's just cool to see him like interacting with the community like that.
So some of it moved it moved to Saturday night for the 5-hour night block, which is technically which is one we'll be talking about today. That's the Toonami I know is Saturday night, about 8. It was started at 8 for me to like 3 a.m. That was Toonami. And such as and that time was Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Robotech Gundam, the Big O, Outlaw Star, which I fucking love Outlaw Star. If you're looking for something just really aesthetic to watch Outlaw Star. Another thing it was very important in was music is a big part of Toonami that isn't really talked about. They gave first use for big bumps for like Gorillas. Clint Eastwood made appearance. It was one of the first times I ever got shown that music video was featured. Daft Punk, the whole album Discovery, that because again, big anime influences there. So of course using it for that, big things. And so yeah, that's the history of Toonami for anyone who is listening to this and doesn't know what Toonami was. It was an anime block that ran Saturday nights that had many deep really was the only way in that time if to watch anime that wasn't bad fan dubbing, because oh god, there was bad fan dubs, but we'll stay away from that one. But with that, I want to talk about favorite
Where,
shows of Toonami.
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
Where would you go to watch anime if like anywhere else like that wasn't Toonami at the time? Like where would you find a fan dub? Do you guys know?
fan dubs were on YouTube,
Oh, okay.
early YouTube, and like passed around like internet forums was really one of the ways. Fee
Yeah.
Mm.
Fee remembers this.
Oh yeah, you go to a sketchy website and sometimes you get like portions of animes or like especially on YouTube, it's just like 1 out of 16 parts of one 22-minute episode and you're like, "Okay, I'm going to continue watching this hoping it." And then the worst part, and I think for me especially is like, and this is not specifically associated with like Toonami, but I remember as an Elfen Lied fan, you couldn't get the first 5 minutes of episode 1 ever. It was so difficult to find the first 5 minutes because if you are not familiar with what happens in the first 5 minutes of that anime, a lot of people die, and so you could not find it anywhere on the internet unless you bought it. And so you would get like random clips every so often, or some sort of like AMV where some people would like show parts of it, and you're just like, oh my god, this is my only understanding of what happened. I think I probably only watched that scene back in like it was like 2009. It was that difficult to specifically get access to that. And so trying to find anime that wasn't horribly dubbed or like on LimeWire, because that was like 2005 era where you're just trying to get access to these shows. So it was a lot of like either Toonami and then maybe hoping that you get to see like some of like the still anime but kind of like younger, like the Sailor Moon and the Pokemon
Mhm.
or like Digimon and then like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. In Canada, we had like YTV, which is where we would have access to some of these particular shows, but nothing compared to what Toonami had as a lineup.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, that was a part of it. But now I'm going to break into favorite shows that we remember from Toonami or that had an impact on us, that kind of thing. Which I'll start with Fifi. What were some of your favorite Toonami shows?
Well, other than Inuyasha, which like I I bring that up mostly because like that was such like a turning point for me, and I know I've talked about this in other episodes that I've been on here where just like it's it was such a big thing at the time, and just like as for me as a solo anime fan who just like didn't have any sort of access, it was definitely an interesting time. I also was a huge fan of Hamtaro, I'm not gonna lie, like that song
Yes.
gets stuck in my head. Like
I fucking love
Hamtaro.
Hamtaro.
It's so cute. And I don't understand, like some people like really didn't like it. I thought it was really cute. I wanted a hamster, could not get a hamster at the time, but like still for me it still was like this is
I
what
had
I
a dope
loved.
ass
Like I
hamster
love
when I was a kid. I was a Robo Dwarf hamster. Little dude.
oh my god. I'm trying to think what else I was like. I always wanted to get into Rurouni Kenshin. Like that one was like a huge one that I specifically really enjoyed. Honestly, I don't know if it was just like some sort of haze, but like trying to remember some of the things that probably happened because there were so many like I found in that specific anime just like so many like like things that went off that in that show that I was just like absolutely mind-boggling to me at least. Um yeah,
The
there's
backward sword was cool.
the backward sword was absolutely fun. And then trying to like once you realize like how his storyline and it just kept on like getting more and more like you were introduced to like what his like why he was doing what he was doing, why he ended up where he was, and then like his like really funny like personality, and then you find out that he had like this really dark past which like for a young innocent fee that was just like oh my god, like he had such like this like terrible backstory blah blah blah, but yeah.
He was a
That's a
bad boy.
he was a bad boy doing good things, and then obviously Sailor Moon. Like, why would you not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the magical girl like inspiration? Obviously, I was Sailor Jupiter. Like, whenever like I got to hang out with my girlfriends and we get to select who like what Sailor Scout, I was always Sailor Jupiter because I was the tall brunette who was a little bit of a tomboy, and I'm like, yes, absolutely, this is everything to me.
I
So
accept this role. I'm proud to take this role.
it's like, give me this role, guys. And I remember, oh man, it like I like keep on like stopping and smiling because it just like brings such like good memories.
Right?
It's warm, right? It's like super comforting.
Yeah, because
It
like
it just feels good.
it feels good. It just makes me feel like it's
One
yeah. What's up?
one I just wanted to shout out while we were talking on the Sailor Moon one was called Captain Sakura.
Yes,
I loved called Captain Sakura.
Mhm.
I remember seeing that for the first time. My sister like we were over at my sister's friend's house and we didn't have access to the like we had Teletoon and YTV, and I remember first seeing Cardcaptor Sakura for the first time and mind blown. And then also being introduced to things like Tsubasa later on, like Triple X Holic, and knowing that there's like an entire universe based on like just card capture is it just makes me really happy. And I started watching Cardcaptor like a few months ago during the pandemic because it was on Netflix. And I'm like, this is a lot different than I thought, like remembered, because mostly because now I'm an adult woman watching a young girl with her friend who apparently just has like copious amounts of money. That's never really explained. Like I know her parents were rich, but like, man, she had butlers for days. She had like an entire like truck full of like outfits for her friend that she's just like, oh, you're going up against like a water card, here's an outfit that you can wear, and like, oh, you're gonna go do this, here's the outfit. And I'm like, I mean, that is best friend for life. If you lose that friend, you have messed up some way.
Oh my god. Christian, what about you? What are some of your favorite shows in the Toonami era?
I mean, we touched on Hamtaro. Like, I was weirdly like way too into Hamtaro. Like, there's no reason why I was like that into it, but like I can't help it. I was like, it was super cute, and I
Yeah.
still love the aesthetic of Hamtaro. Like, it's so comfy.
Oh, the look of Hamtaro is it's just comfy. Yeah, that's the best word for it. It's comfy.
Hmm.
It holds you tight. It's like a weighted blanket. It's just
How
nice.
how would you what genre is it? Like a slice of life, but like in
Slice of
animal
life,
form?
slice
I
of
don't
life
know.
hamster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hamster.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like kind of like a nice little escape growing up. But then I also remember like not really differentiating between cartoons and anime at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there was like I knew they were different, and you could tell because it's a different animation style and it's different in tone as well. But like the one that like made it clear that this is something different was Dragon Ball for me because
Mm-hmm.
like those characters were insane. And like growing up, and I'm sure like tons of people had this as well. Like you would go to elementary school and you would talk about like that week's episodes of what you were watching.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
Yeah.
how about that fight? And then like we would have our favorites with Dragon Ball, and I'd go ask my mom for action figures, and I came home with my Piccolo action figure because I loved him for some reason. I was super into Piccolo, and I wanted to be him for Halloween, and I never was able to. So, well, one day, I guess.
We're
Um,
dyeing you green this year, Christian. You're
I
either
don't want
gonna
to
be
be dyed
Beast Boy.
green.
You're going to be Beast Boy or Piccolo. We're gonna decide on the spot.
I will gladly
Same.
be Beast Boy because I have a thing for Raven. So, like Fee mentioned, and Ryan, I was also into Sailor Moon. I would watch that with my cousin, and like I don't know, Sailor Mars and Sailor Mercury were the blueprint for me as far as
Mm-hmm.
like the
I
aesthetic
get
of
it. I
yeah.
I
Okay,
get it,
thank you.
Christian.
Yeah, I was into it. And then the last one I think I really want to shout out, and it's not even like a Naruto or anything, and like Inuyasha was like great for me as well, but specifically, it was at the time of elementary school when like Pokemon was the fad of Pokemon, not just the cartoon, but the card game fad was like beginning to wilt.
Mhm.
And I guess we were all looking for something like to respond to that, and it was when Yu-Gi-Oh was premiering on Toonami, and it's like this is the new thing, and it was for a long time, and I got really because of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, I got really into card playing. And I ended up giving my mom this Yu-Gi-Oh card that apparently she still has with her. Like she'll keep it in her car. For some reason, it means a lot to her that I gave her this
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh card.
adorable.
So
I love that.
yeah.
Which leads perfectly into my first pick of shows that I remember, which is not Yu-Gi-Oh, but Yu-Gi-Oh! GX,
Mm.
which is my
Mm.
favorite season of Yu-Gi-Oh! And like my favorite time to play the game, everything was Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I loved GX, and
Yeah.
it was just Yu-Gi-Oh! High school battle anime where it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Meets freaking Harry Potter with them in houses playing cards because
Oh,
they're
they got
going
like
to
sorted and stuff.
yeah, they got sorted into academies by different colored jackets, and they would battle for like whose house is better and all that kind of thing. They went to Duel Academy as a school for dueling, which I think is hilarious in premise. So
Wow.
what's your major? Dueling. It's great. That's one I want to shout out. I want to shout out some of the weirder ones now, which is Bobobo Bo Bobobo Bo Bobobo, which
One more time.
Bobobo Bo Bobobo Bo Bobobo, which
Wow.
is one of the most psychedelic, weird animes I've ever watched. um how to they took all the tropes of a shonen anime and made fun of them way before like weird out there comedy was popular. It was like 2006. It's about a man, Bobobo, the titular Bobobo, who fights with the fist of his nose hairs, with making fun of Fist of the North Star, and it is just outlandish sketch comedy. It's a shotgun blast of comedy. Because when one joke doesn't hit, the next one will, and it's just all wild. And it was so much fun. I
Ryan,
remember watching
I
this weekly.
I looked it up right now because
Yeah.
I immediately like you unlocked memories for me.
Do you remember this, Christian?
Yeah, like it's like hazy, but then
Yeah.
it was when you said the nose hairs, I was like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah. It is wild. It was. I don't know why I liked it so much when I was fucking like 12, 11. I don't know, some age in there. But I did. And it is just I recently went back and rewatched it.
Mhm.
And now with nearly 2 decades of anime knowledge under my belt, it is hilarious. It is so much funnier now because all these jokes hit so well. But I'm gonna keep it up with the surreal animes and all that, and I'm gonna go to FLCL, which is an anime I fucking love. I love FLCL.
I learned a lot about you by the way you pronounced it. There's a, there's
FLCL?
there's always the debate online about how it's pronounced.
Dude,
Cooley.
is
Matt,
it FLCL or
Fooly
Fooly Cooly?
Fooly Fooly Cooly.
I just say FLCL. It's easier.
Oh yeah.
Fooly Cooly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What Fooly Cooly is just a music video wrapped in an anime. For a band called The Pillows. It is fantastic. It is weird, zany, out there, but also beautiful, dark, has some great stories of growing up. Definitely give it a watch if you haven't.
I
But
have I'm going
uh,
to say right now, I
mhm.
have not watched Fooly Cooly, and I need to.
It's 6
Yeah.
episodes, Fee.
Mhm.
I know. Believe me, like
It's 6 30-minute episodes. It's an
I literally
afternoon,
have no
Fee.
reason not to, and it's so accessible online, and I
Did you get through
failed.
Yasuke?
The the
Yeah.
Netflix
No,
anime?
I didn't. We were going to, but then Castlevania, the
That's
Oh, that's right,
like
yeah.
final
exactly the
season.
same thing that happened to me. I was watching it, and then Castlevania dropped. I'm like, Alucard. Well, I gotta leave for Alucard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna go into it too much. I was more in the lines of I was not prepared. Like at the beginning, I'm like, okay, we go into a specific thing, and then the robots came, and I'm like, okay, like this was a complete turn. That's a whole other conversation that I'm more than happy to have because I'm very confused. But yeah, I have not finished it. I think we're on episode 4.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say because
Yeah.
that's only 6 episodes, and if you can make it through that, I think you would enjoy Fooly Cooly.
Oh no, I've heard
Yeah.
like everyone I've talked to, it's just like you need to watch Fooly Cooly, and it's one of those animes where I'm like, I will definitely watch that, and then I watch like 4 or 5 other shows, and then I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to go back to that show
Yeah,
because
that
I really
happens.
want to.
Now, I'm going to talk about something that is not an anime, but came out of Toonami, because Toonami was doing such great numbers
Mhm.
for Cartoon Network that they started giving it its own product.
Yeah.
And that is one show by the name of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the original done by Gende Katakaski, not the modern 3D animation, but the one done in 2D animation. And that is one of the greatest pieces of Star Wars media that has ever been made. If you're a Star Wars fan, go watch it. It is fucking insane.
That was Toonami produced, or I
Toonami
guess
produced it. Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's made for Toonami. It was Cartoon Network produced, but it aired on Toonami.
Oh, dang.
Because Toonami's where they would throw all their action block and stuff. Like Ben 10 premiered on Toonami.
And what
And
a show
stuff
that
like
was,
that.
huh?
Ben 10's pretty good. I'm gonna stand by that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
I'm like Ben 10 kind of slaps.
I wish I had an Omnitrix right now. Dang.
Yeah. Another show they made was Megas XLR, which is a parody of giant robot battle anime, done by an American studio as a comedy thing. And basically it's what if two stoner bros who are kind of into like working on cars got a giant robot. That was the plot of it, and it was just really fun.
Hmm.
It people have been wanting it to get a revival for years now because it ended on a massive cliffhanger, like every action show ever done by Cartoon Network. Looking at you, Teen Titans.
Oh,
Wow.
Teen
I
Titans.
did not remember this like the show up until I saw it, and now there's like this thing clicking in my head, and I'm like, I've watched this. I've watched multiple episodes of this, and I
Of Megas XLR.
yes, and I did not remember this whatsoever. I remember the characters.
Yeah.
Do I remember the plot? No, but do I remember the art and everything else? Abso-freaking-lutely I do. And now it's one of the man, that's what I love doing. Like
The
looking back
theme
at some of these.
the theme song for it was just Chicks Dig Giant Robots, which I think is hilarious. It was just a dumb fun show.
Toonami
If
as
you're looking
well. Oh my
if,
god.
yeah.
God.
If you're looking for other ones that may open up weird memory holes, Zatchabelle.
Mm-hmm.
Zatchabelle is one that I remember watching and not liking as a kid, but still watching it. Just one of those shows I'm like, this is on before anything else. I'll watch my one episode of Zatchabelle to get to Naruto. And the butchered, and God, do I mean butchered version of One Piece they gave us in the States for the first go around of One Piece before Funimation bought it. Which was done by everybody's favorite publishing house. God, what was they called again? Pete, what's the one that did all the bad dubbing back in the day?
Oh no.
Four
Oh
Kids. Four Kids.
yeah.
Four Kids TV did One Piece where they took out Sanji's cigarettes, they gave him a lollipop. Guns became all kinds of zany things.
Yeah. They made it like family friendly for the Fox
The
Saturday
Fox
morning
Box
cartoons. Yeah, the Fox box. Because that's where Digimon and One Piece and all those other
and
Kirby.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh
Kirby
yeah.
Fully Loaded right back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never made
Yeah.
it past the first episode of One Piece.
Neither have I.
One Piece,
Honestly.
I am over 900 episodes in.
My
Because I
god.
Yeah.
started in 2005 when it aired on Toonami, and I never stopped watching it
That's
or
insane.
reading it. It is
I'll continue.
One Piece. I've mentioned this before on the show. It is almost like a timestamp in my life. What arc and what is happening in One Piece correlates that I can tell you what I was doing at that time in my life by where I was in One Piece.
That's awesome.
Which
Though.
I think
I
it's
like
a
that.
really interesting like time thing I can use for my life.
You grew up with that show.
Yeah.
Sorry, P.
And
Oh no.
I'm 15, 17 years into reading this thing, which will probably end in the next 5 years, which is very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. To read something like that.
I was just gonna say, an anime, and it's not the anime itself, it was the opening that like brings me a lot of joy, and I just did not end up watching this. Like I would literally stay there, watch the opening and leave. Was Neon Genesis Evangelion. I would
Have
just
you
like I would jam
the
out to the
curse?
opening because the opening is absolutely amazing, and then I'm like, I wasn't a huge Gundam fan. I'm still not the biggest Gundam fan, and so I'm sorry. I'm like at the time, this is where I put that under the umbrella because I'm just like, it's like one of those Gundam shows. So then I would just turn it off. I know it's not now, but at the time, you know what? Go and yell at 2003 young Fee and then come back to me, because like if someone had slapped some sense into me, that's also on like my, like, I have a bucket list of anime that I missed from different time periods, and that one in particular, like that song, you put that on and I like it's on like slightly on par to the excitement I get from like, or like just the complete I can like smack someone square in the face, is like Attack on Titan and then Neo Genesis Evangelion opening, because that opening is just a bop. It's just full
Full Angel's
energy.
Thesis is something special. I will give you
Mhm.
that. And it's funny you bring up Evangelion, because that's a show that I remember seeing that when I was young, but then rewatching it. I watched Evangelion for the first time when I was like 13, 14, somewhere in there.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It caused problems. That's why this shelf is behind me. It started this problem, and we'll accept that. Um,
I'm the lowest of the low.
but Evangelion, for it getting put out, I didn't watch it at that time, but for it getting put out on Toonami 2003, 2004 is such a big deal in the history of anime in the West, as that when people talk about the holy grails of anime in the most important animes, one of the major names that always gets mentioned is Evangelion.
Yep.
And for good reason. That team made a masterpiece, and then they went on and they did it over and over and over.
Yeah.
Through Fooly Cooley to Gurren Lagann to Kill la Kill to Promare.
Yeah.
That team has shown that they know what they're doing with wild out there anime.
That team
And
did Promare.
yeah, so Gainax was the old studio, and they did um Gurren Lagann, Evangelion, all that kind of stuff. Then the heads of that Fooly Cooley wanted out, and they went and left and made Studio Trigger, which then did Kill la Kill, the Fooly Cooley alternative, um, Promare, and now I forget what they're working on at the moment. Oh, Megalobox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's just there are some of the killer teams in anime, and that's just important for them to be. But then there was a sad time in Toonami's history, which is 2008. 2008 was the death of Toonami till 2012. And I remember this. I remember watching the end of Toonami, where it was the last episode. If you ever want to feel something sad, go watch the last TV bump for Toonami on its last episode. They fought Ever. You can feel the emotion in Steve Bloom's voice of saying goodbye to this character that he thinks he'll never see again. Because Cartoon Network was like, this ain't making us money at the moment. We're running out of act. That was right when Cartoon Network said, you know what the kids want on Cartoon Network? No cartoons. Destroy, build, destroy is what these children want. They want Andrew WK. Let's get them some more Andrew WK.
This was the
And
iCarly point of my life, so I can't
yes,
relate.
yeah. Rich, question: when are we doing an episode for the iCarly reboot?
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll talk. We'll talk.
I always see your tweets on that. I just think it's funny.
Mm.
But
Yeah, they had the ending. I remember that TV bump though.
yeah,
Yeah.
it hits. It hits different. And it was a sad time. And then Toonami was dead in the ground. We never thought we'd see it again. It was over. But 2012, April Fools, because that's how Adult Swim loves to run their shit.
Yep.
A bumper comes on for a night of Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Dead
Ugh.
Man Wonderland, Inuyasha, and Naruto.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah.
what a
Straight bangers.
lineup! What a lineup to come back with. none of those shows are bad. Like, the
Yeah.
worst one's Dead Man Wonderland, and that's still like an 8. But Brotherhood, Ghost in the Shell, Bebop, all Naruto, all that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I
And
love
now
Brotherhood
they
so
are
much.
full Adult Swim. They are coming on late at night, and they are now with no restraints. It's no longer attached to Cartoon Network. The bumper is now there before it of your kids should be in bed. You get that 10-minute bumper of that pool floaty, and it just says Adult Swim will be starting, and then it's just like a pool, like a floaty in it, and then you get
Yeah.
ready for some more adult content, such as Ghost in the Shell, Uncut Naruto, Inuyasha, Samurai 7, which,
Mm.
God, I love Samurai 7. And now we get into one of the more important parts of Toonami and what it has done in the past few years, since 2012. And that is, it's been the place for dubbed animes. It's where dub animes premiere. It's where they get their limelight and all that, which I think is important for a healthy anime industry. Is that this kind of stuff needs that. Like Space Dandy, for an example, was a show made by the creator of Cowboy Bebop, and it got it launched the same time in Japan as America on Toonami
It's
in
crazy.
English, which is just insane.
Yeah.
I
No, especially for like I know Ryan and I lived through the days of like you waited like months for the English dub if you wanted to actually get access to it. And even then it wasn't that great in some regard. I'm not saying all the English dubs during that time weren't bad because that's definitely not the case, but you had to wait. And the idea of having a dub at the same time as a sub completely like mind-boggling. And I know at the time I didn't have access to Toonami, but hearing that and like as a nerd and I like that was probably I didn't access as much anime content as I do like my goodness, than I did before that particular period, and especially now because I have a problem. Uh it's it was really interesting to hear that, and I remember, like, just reading that, I'm like, "That's awesome." Like, I'm happy to see that the genre that, like, I grew up with and I really enjoyed are finally, like, getting the recognition and actually doing that, and I know even now, like, the past few months when they release the English dub of Fruits Basket before they introduced some of the sub content was, like people were, like, going nuts. So, that's just it was a huge step for, like, the West when it comes to anime content.
kind of wild to think about because I saw a commercial not too long ago for a current lineup of like Toonami shows,
Yeah.
and like there's kids out there for sure that like don't have subscriptions to your Crunchyroll or your Funimation or what have you that are
Mhm.
watching anime and are getting into anime now from Toonami and like getting to see classic shows that they're still showing. I think they're showing Shippuden now. But they're
Yeah.
also like premiering like new stuff or newer like Attack on Titan final season is on there, Demon Slayer, I think My Hero. So
My
like
Hero, Food Wars, Promise
mm,
Neverland, Sword Art
mm.
Online, Assassination Classroom, Doctor Stone is one of the major shows that they're
That's
showing.
crazy.
And it's just cool. It's just cool.
I mean,
Quality
out of
content.
all of those animes, I think the one that I'd feel the most uncomfortable watching on my TV, especially if my family was around, was Food Wars. Like I can explain Demon Slayer, I can try to explain like what's like happening on Attack on Titan, but when people are reacting the way that they do in Food Wars when it comes to food, like that's difficult to explain. And if you haven't watched Food Wars or have not heard of it before, you're in for a treat when you decide to Google it after you listen to this episode because it is something else. And
Mhm.
I am not going to apologize for what you're going to witness.
Nor should you.
nor
No.
should I.
Yeah, nor should you.
Did I watch all 4 seasons? Yes, I did.
Nice.
It's fun. It was a fun show.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
A fun show. Give it a watch with your parents. Sit mom down to watch Food Wars. If she loves the Great British Bake Off, she'll love Food Wars.
Absolutely.
Please die.
Yeah.
But I'm going to just go through this list of shows that have been released through Toonami for their dubs. Kill la Kill, Akame ga Kill, Black Lagoon, Blue Exorcist, Space Dandy, Attack on Titan, Samurai Champloo, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Tokyo Ghoul, Black Clover, Outlaw Star, Pop Team Epic, My Hero, Mob Psycho, Megalobot, Promise Neverland, Dr. Stone, Demon Slayer, Fire Force, Paranoia Agent, Assassination Classroom, and the list just keeps going.
A lot of quality shows.
What the?
The premiere for Uzumaki, the
Oh,
show
yes!
of Junji Ito's classic manga Uzumaki, which is
Yeah.
pinnacle horror, comes out in October this year through Toonami.
That's right. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it got announced at 2 anime expos ago that they were doing that.
Have we all
Which
seen the
is-
trailer for that?
Mhm.
I don't.
And that's insane to me that something like that can do that. Shenmue the animation is appearing on Toonami, which Shenmue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they also have filled their block up with things such as the revival series and fifth and final season of Samurai Jack, giving a home almost to these older, more gritty cartoons of that time period.
Yeah.
Things like Samurai Jack, Megas XLR, where was it? Symbiotic Titan. And then they've also partnered with people like Rooster Teeth, and they aired Genlock.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Genlock and
Toonami's got too much power. I'm gonna say it.
They're doing the Blade Runner anime, Black Lotus, and the Cyberpunk 2077 anime done by Trigger will also be airing on Toonami. So it's just become a place now after it's a kind of disappearance of really starting to hone in on the kids who are super into Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon to a celebration of what the West can do in the anime market, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
That of being a kid right now and watching things such like Sapujin, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Ghost in the Shell, My Hero. I can't imagine watching My Hero week to week on Toonami and what that must be like. It must be like what I felt watching Naruto back in the day.
I'm
Stuff.
jealous.
Yeah.
Like, what is their Haku Zabuza moment in that? Because I know it's coming from My Hero and all that. Because there are things that vividly, there's moments in time where I can tell you where I was. And one of them is the Gaara versus Rock Lee fight in
Yep.
Naruto. I
Yep.
remember what I was sitting on the couch and watching that. And when those fucking weights fall off, it's still things that give me chills to this day is that fight scene.
Remember later when I think it was Sasuke makes Gaara bleed?
Yeah.
When I hear Gaara yelling when he realizes he's
Yeah,
feeling
when he
his
gets through
blood,
his sand barrier.
I can smell my old bedroom. I don't know why. When I hear Gaara scream, "That's my blood," I smell my old bedroom. Wild.
And that's the power these shows have. And that's the thing that I am really happy that it wasn't lost. For a few years, it was gone. And anime it was really getting held up then by the rise of Crunchyroll, Funimation doing their thing.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to know that anime is available on basic cable Saturday nights with amazing content. This lineup is insane. I can't imagine just being able to just turning on the TV on Saturday night and being like, "Oh, time to watch Tokyo Ghoul," my one episode. As much as I love binging anime and the way I do it now, of watching it when it comes out, there's something special about watching it week to week on Toonami. And you get the headers and everything, and the what happens next on Dragon Ball Z, all that kind of stuff that
Yeah,
you don't get when you're watching it, just binging it in 10 episodes at a time.
it feels special. It feels like this is your block of the week for you to like catch up on all the shows that you're watching. I guess if I had to like akin it to anything now, it'd be like how like the Twitter world gets excited for whatever MCU show is coming out like that night, you know,
Yeah.
or like The Mandalorian.
I like
Yeah.
I really like, especially recently, like over the past few months on TikTok, a lot of people have been talking about like their experiences when they heard Fukaimori play, which is the ending of Inuyasha, and hearing that song, and seeing like Shishomaru like standing on top of his father's skull as his like scarf is like flying in the wind, and just like people like being woken up by that, like just like you said that you can remember like the smell of your like old bedroom. I specifically remember the first night that I heard it. I was walking downstairs after I was checking up on the kids that I was babysitting, and I heard that song playing, and I saw it on the TV as I was walking down the stairs. And every single time I hear that song, that's where I like that's what I remember, is just like having to go upstairs because I heard something, came downstairs, and then heard that song. And ever since then, like it just takes me back to that moment, like always. And so, God, no. If you hear the
That's
song, you'll
crazy.
definitely recognize the
Oh,
yeah.
I can hear it in my head right now. It is rattling around in there.
Yeah.
Which, again, this is all just I can't imagine being from what when I look at like the era I watched, it was Naruto, Megas XLR, Duel Masters, Zatch Bell, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, with weirder things thrown in there like Rurouni Kenshin,
Yeah.
Hamtaro, Bobo. But now to see that it is just pure anime. It's pure
Yeah.
anime or hard adult animation like Primal. Again,
Yeah.
if you have not watched Primal, please go give that a watch. It's Jende Tadakowski. There's no speaking in it. It's just amazing audio and visuals about a caveman and a dinosaur hanging out, living through a primal world. It's
That sounds
fantastic.
rad.
Yeah.
Oh, Christian, you would really like it. I think it's all on Prime. You should give it a watch.
Oh yes. Oh wait, I do know this one. Yeah, it's on my
Yeah.
list. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's real cool. It's real cool. And then like I'm still happy though that they're keeping this zania stuff when I look at this. Like Pop Team Epic. I'm glad there was a American dub of Pop Team Epic, which I need to look up after this because I need to hear what the
What it
hell they
sounds like.
sound like. Because Pop Team Epic was just ultimate shit posting the anime. It was something special. You
Nice.
remember, Fee? Do you remember those few weeks when Pop Team Epic just ran anime Twitter with memes?
Yes.
The memes were fire.
God. I think that had the same reaction to a lot of us, that like when people found out that the Olympics have a TikTok now, and one of the first things that they put was JoJo, and it was like one of the figure skaters like doing the JoJo like back
Yeah.
bend, and they were just like, everyone's like, wait, this is the Olympics? And they're like, yes we are. And the amount of like anime kind of memes that they've been putting out now since they started posting that is just, it's so good because
It's
you
amazing.
Well, we can never forget that Pikachu, Hello Kitty, Sailor Moon, Naruto, Goku, and Jotaro are all official mascots of the Olympics this year.
Insane. I love
Which,
it.
what a lineup. What a
Oh,
lineup.
my god.
I want to see Hello Kitty next to Jotaro.
I want Hello Kitty merch.
Who
I'm gonna go take a trip to Sanrio.
I shout out to Sanrio stores in malls. May they rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh wait, they don't exist anymore.
No, they don't.
I
But
can't go get my
remember them
ears
from when I
pierced
was a
at
kid.
Sanrio.
Get
Yeah.
your ears pierced to the Claire's.
Oh god.
Get the disease.
Yeah.
My god. Oh my god. I the mentioning of like Naruto reminds me of it, like it's associated with Toonami, but I remember like getting those like anime insider magazines, like going to the grocery
Yes.
store, and then
Yes.
the one that I remember, and I actually just found it, like I had to like Google it. It was a white print. It was from 2005, and it had Naruto on the front, and it said Naruto, the biggest anime of 2005. And I also remember the commercials that they were showing around that time, like the year before, and it's just like introducing one of the newest, like the biggest animes called Naruto. And then like they would like show those, and you're just like, it's so crazy to think that like there was a time where this didn't exist, and then people were talking about like, oh, this new show's coming out, and then now knowing that there's like well over like 400 episodes combined of the series, it's just, I don't know what happened, because I remember that like if it was yesterday, and then now it's just like what the and not only that, they now have like Baruto, which is like their
I
kids.
I
Yeah.
was when I was packing up, moving to my new apartment right now, and everything doing that.
Yeah.
Pulling out my old uh box of just manga and looking through that and seeing my complete collection of Naruto.
Yeah.
One through whatever it ended at with Shippuden. I forget. I think it was like 56 to 76, somewhere in there. But that is, I remember those magazines vividly. I remember I had one that was just Naruto, and it was him on the cover, and it was like talking about the video games and the Naruto video game for the PSP.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which a shout out to that game. I played a shit ton of that game.
Yeah, I sent it on the Facebook, like
Let
the
me
chat that we
see.
have. It's the cover of the one that
Oh my god, I remember this.
Right?
Everything
Oh.
about this makes me happy, Fee. It just warms my soul. From
It's
Howl's Moving Castle, how Disney brought Miyazaki's latest masterpiece to Naruto biggest anime.
yeah.
The Secrets
Uh,
of Samurai Champloo.
Which, by the way, we didn't talk about that. I'm it's so good.
Howl?
Oh no, Samurai shampoo.
Oh, let's take a hot second to talk about Champloo. Uh,
And there she
Fee
goes.
decided not to.
Yeah. Let's talk about Samurai Champloo. Bye.
I made a mistake.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Let's I'll talk.
Welcome back.
Fee, I said, do you want to talk about Samurai Champloo? And you're like, no.
No, I do.
What a fucking soundtrack of things that shaped my taste in music. Champloo is definitely one of them. For when I
Yeah.
like want aesthetic-y music, is that lo-fi hip hop beat style that it had. But also just a great show all around. Did both of you guys dig Samurai Champloo?
Yeah, man. R.I.P. New Jobbies, dude. Every day.
Yeah. The I'm always like speechless by just the soundtracks that they had, going from like Cowboy Bebop to like Shampoo to things like Carol and Tuesday. The music's so different, but the actual like the amount of time and effort and the thought that they put into the music to like not only just like the music portions of it, but just like how it like can change like they take one song and then it like moves with the actual scene. So a lot of like shows, like they'll just place a song on top, like, oh, it's a sad song, whatever. But the way that they specifically structured it, and I'm gonna talk about music as someone who, I love music. I'm not textual like I'm not trained in it by any stretch other than like school band and stuff like that, but they like take it from like at the beginning they kind of have like calm and then they instantly change the actual like song tempo and everything else to what's happening in the scene. So they think about it and it's not just like the standard background music. It's like jazzy, kind of like low hip hop. There's so much going on there. And I remember just like remembering that this was something different and special because I didn't know at the time as a kid that they were connected. And by things that were connected was with Cowboy Bebop and Shampoo. But it's just so well done. It was just the art style, the music, everything. Everything came together, and I really, really enjoyed it.
It's insane. It's an insane show. Christian, what do you have to say on Samurai Champloo?
No, I was gonna say that in Champloo specifically, and other anime as well, music can be just as much of a character as a show as like actual people, and it's
Right.
just as much identity building as anything else. And seeing that specifically in Samurai Champloo is like insane to watch.
Yeah.
But like Fee mentioned it, like other anime do it so well. And the first one that came to mind was the final episode of the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen
Yeah.
when Megumi and Itadori are fighting, and that like the music is as much part of that scene as anything as like all the animation that's going on. So yeah.
When um, I do want to harken back to the to Fee mentioning Bebop to uh Samurai Champloo. From there, it was that what's in between those? Because then it goes Carol, right? Tuesday and Carol,
Yeah, Carol and Tuesday. Yeah.
Carol and Tuesday to then Megalobox, which was his current show, and it's all completely different with hard jazz in bebop to lo-fi hip hop rap to classical to popish in Carol and Tuesday to Spanish guitars and like ballads and stuff for Megalobox. That was the tone they had for that
Yeah.
show.
Mhm.
And music shaped all of those shows. And music shaped and like what I said, I definitely want to have an episode of of Anime Nation where I talk music and anime because I think they go hand in hand. You need some shows are saved by the music. And music, I agree, is just as important. And with that, I'm going to
Yeah.
bring it to our closing thoughts on this. Fee, do you have anything else you want to say about the powerhouse, which is Toonami?
It really like even though there was like some points where I didn't get access to it and there was other times where there was definitely anime that I still haven't watched on there. It definitely sprouted an excitement of anime for me. Even though like gosh. I'm not like like I got caught up for a second because you mentioned
Mhm.
music and then I was thinking about like stuff like that, but okay, I'm gonna try to come up with my own specific like ending thoughts. Is it definitely like when you think of mid 2000s anime, that's what you think of is Toonami, and seeing it be able to grow and come like we watched the death of Toonami and then it coming back is such a powerhouse in anime, especially for not only us, but like for kids who may have never been introduced to this before, just easy access to this kind of content that we got to enjoy sparingly because we didn't get as much access and as much fantastic shows as everyone gets to get access to now. And I'm happy to see that it was able to grow, but it also really, like I said, it shaped me. There's definitely times, and we've talked about this throughout the episode, where it's just we can remember specific times where we were watching Toonami and the amount of like impact and special like just special memories that it brought on just on it. Christian said it the best. It's definitely heartwarming and it just makes you feel like a nice warm blanket when you think of Toonami, especially in the mid 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Well, you got any last words you want to say, Christian?
Yeah, I'll just echo what I said earlier. Is that without Toonami, I'm not the person I am today.
Yeah.
I surely wouldn't be as into anime as much as I am now. I mean, who knows? Like I could have had some other introduction down the line, but like I'm glad that Toonami was there at the right place at the right time for me in my life, because
Yeah.
without it, I don't want to meet the person who I would be without Toonami.
Agreed.
And that I'm gonna echo that statement as well, on which is this podcast doesn't exist without Toonami, and that's just clear to say it. I
Yeah.
fell in love with anime through getting shown Ghibli movies and Toonami as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that shaped me into a lifelong love of anime that, as you can tell just from looking at my background, has shaped a lot of who I am to this day, a lot of what I enjoy, my friends. Hell, I was literally sitting with my roommates last night watching anime, so it's a big part of my life, and I'm happy because of Toonami I got to experience it and live through it. And with that, I bring us to, again, my favorite section of this. It's where my manga corner, where I recommend one manga that I think you should check out. Because I just honestly think not enough people are reading manga. And this week's one is Spy X Family, where 3 people get put together. It's a shonen. It's on Shonen Jump. It's their third most popular manga, I believe, at the moment. And it is about a telepath, an assassin, and a spy all getting put on the same mission and faking being a family to pull off the mission, but ending up maybe actually becoming an actual family along the way. Please give it a check out if you are into that kind of thing. It's super fun getting an anime at the end of the year.
Nice.
And with that, we go to plugs. Fee, what do you got to plug for me today?
Well, I'm going to plug Point in Progress. It's the podcast that I do with 4 of my friends, and we talk about nerdy stuff, gaming, everything that we want to specifically talk about. And every so often, I get to throw anime in there, and they just roll their eyes at me, but that is a-okay. And we record on Fridays, but we post throughout the week. You can check us over at youtube.com/pointinprogress. I also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Zoranix. I have been playing a game that I was not expecting to enjoy, which is GTA 5 online. I've been playing that with my friends. I have become a little bit too much of a gangster in that, and I will blow up your car if I see you. But yeah, if you guys want to play with me ever, like, feel free to let me know. And yeah, that's essentially everything that I'm going to be shouting out today.
You
The
guys have
idea,
so much fun over there.
the idea of you as a gangster is hilarious to me.
Dude, every time Pip like puts out anything related to like their content, it's always Fee murdering someone on whatever game they're playing. Doesn't
That's
matter what the
true.
game is. Fee's killing someone.
Yeah.
The other day, there is a particular point, and Frank asked me, "Do I like beef?" Because there was a specific like section where one of the guys is just like, "I'm beef-tastic, blah blah blah," and he's like, "Do you like beef?" And I'm like, "No, I don't eat beef." And I'm like, "But I start it," and then I shot him.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
That's
So yeah,
so funny.
yeah, that's me.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Be the G.
Fee the G. Oh, that's good. That's good.
PG.
Christian, what you got to plug for me today?
I'm not plugging anything personal today. I've been plugging Palestine Relief Aid all week. So the easiest thing to do is if you go to Linktree/Let's Talk Palestine, you get a bunch of resources for donating, as well as contacting local representatives, whether it be the U.S. or Canada, to call for ceasefire.
Fantastic.
Now I feel like a
to see that.
jerk.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I've been in the same shoes, Fee. It's okay. It happened.
I talk about killing someone in GTA, and he
Also, don't worry about it. It's going to be in the description below.
perfect.
Yeah.
That is
Thank you for that.
awesome.
The hidden voice from the sky. We thank you.
I'm called
God.
God. Yeah, thank you.
Steppenwolf.
And with that, it brings an end to this episode. And there's only one way to end that episode, and that'd be see you, Space Cowboy, next time on